I know it's hard to believe, but some RCers don't live on my block. So we had to come up with a way for them to get tracings that are plain to me so I could make protectors for them. This is contractor's paper and they use it to protect flooring usually. And we got this at Lowe's. It's cheap, but it works great. And you don't need nothing fancy for tracing your plane out, just the plane itself, the paper, and a Sharpie. The only real technique here is to keep the part still and trace around the edges. Just keep the Sharpie as straight up and down as you can. And while you're doing this, leave any end plates the model may have off. When you have tabs like this sticking out the end of the root, make sure you trace around them because you have to add them to the overall length. Note on the tracing what part this represents. On wings and tail feathers, make sure you mark the leading edge. Stand wings up on their root and trace around the thickest part so I can get how thick the wing is. And just label that little sketch also. If the plane's already assembled, you can tape this paper to a piece of cardboard and hold that under things like the horizontal stabilizers or vertical stabilizer and trace around it that way. And remember to mark the leading edge. The vertical stab is done the same way. When you cut these tracings out, just leave around an inch around the outside of it. Here again, if you can't lay the fuse out like this, you can tape the paper to the cardboard and hold it up against it and do the tracings. We need to know where the landing gear mount on this model, so mark that when you do the tracing at the bottom of the fuselage. Take your time when tracing the top of the fuselage. Keep the pen as straight up and down as you can. Keeping the tracing following the contours is going to be important. We need to measure the width of the fuselage at both ends and any place where the contour changes. Just use a simple tape and measure to about halfway down the radius on either side. Then mark that width at that point on the tracing of the fuselage. We don't need micrometer work here, but just be as close as you can with a tape measure. On this model, the next change in profile comes at the base of the windshield. On this model, the next point we want to measure is just behind the canopy. The taper of the fuselage is pretty consistent from there on back. There's no real break in the profile at the back of the canopy, so just measure from the base of the windshield to where you took the measurement at the back of the canopy. Then mark that on the tracing. Finally, measure the width an inch or two ahead of the vertical stabilizer. And that does it for the fuselage tracing. Cut everything out with about an inch border. All we're doing is wanting to reduce the bulk here. Make sure you have everything labeled and you're ready to pack it up and send it to us. We'll put a link in the description below it. It'll take you to the tracing page on our site where you can get the information for where to send it. If you have any questions, use the contact me on the site to get those to me. Incidentally, you can either roll all the tracings up or fold them up. Just get them to me the easiest way for you.